I'm Kristen Cho.
And I'm Cameron Word.
Thank you for joining us. Only 2 days before today and tomorrow, it's the end of the month.
Yeah,
we really start into probably winter next month, I would assume.
Already?
Are we still going to be at fall? Our temperatures?
I mean,
our weather?
Temperature-wise, I don't know. Officially, winter doesn't start till December.
So we still have some time to enjoy fall.
Yeah, I hope so.
We'll see.
I hope that the weather is nice enough to get out, but, not terribly cold.
Yeah, I agree. Our dialogue today is about noisy neighbors. 시끄러운 이웃.
Yes.
And finally, they came to an understanding. This is an interesting expression, and it happens to be one of the expressions for today. If you come to an understanding. Now, we know what understanding means, right?
Yes.
이해하다. But if you come to an understanding, what does this mean?
우린 서로 합의에 이르렀어요. Which means that you have come to a compromise or you understand,
both
you have,
agreed
to something. So there's a certain sense of we talk to each other and we figured out a way that both sides can be happy or at least both sides are not mad.
Okay, good. So to come to an understanding, it's kind of like, okay, now we both agree on this and we're done.
We're going to go forward now.
Okay. Worst case scenario. So it's WORST-CASE. Worst case scenario.
This is the worst possible outcome, the worst possible situation you could be in.
Okay. And how about if money is well spent?
It means you may have spent a lot of money, but it was worth it.
It was worth it.
I would pay that amount again.
Okay, very good. Okay, let's go ahead and listen to our dialogue.
Hey, Maria, you look well rested for once.
Thanks, I am. When I decided that the worst case scenario was that I would move out, I tried something less drastic.
That's good. What did you do?
My neighbor and I came to an understanding. She agreed to take her kids to the park between 2 and 4 every day when I have business calls.
What about for the rest of the day?
For that, I took your advice and got the noise-cancelling headphones and earbuds. It was money well spent.
Okay, please join us on page 158. That is where you can find our power dialogue, The Noisy Neighbors. We came to an understanding. Chad says, hey, Maria, you look well rested for once. And this is a good phrase, too, to be well rested. You look well rested, meaning like, oh, you look like you got enough sleep.
Yeah, you don't have those dark circles under your eyes usually.
That's right. Maria says, thanks, I am. When I decided that the worst case scenario was that I would move out, I tried something less drastic. Now remember, Maria was like, should I move out? That would be the worst case scenario. Now, if it's a worst case scenario...
Yes.
What does this mean?
Worst case scenario means the worst possible thing that could happen.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen. But if you were to kind of think about all of the bad things that could happen, this one would be the worst.
Worst.
That is your worst case scenario.
Yeah. This is often said when we're like, okay, well, it's not going to work out, but, I think we'll be okay. Well, worst case scenario, the trip is canceled.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're giving the least good outcome.
Yeah.
And you're saying this, often you're saying this probably will not happen.
But
just in case. Yeah,
that's right. So worst case scenario was that she would move out, move to another place. But then she decided I tried something less drastic. DRASTICE. IC.
Yes.
Drastic. This is a very common, popular word that native speakers use.
So drastic is another word for extreme. So, and it's often used in a negative way. Like to do something drastic means to do too much, You didn't have to go that extreme, but you did. Right?
Yeah, right.
So here, doing something less drastic means I didn't go crazy. I didn't do the most extreme thing I could have.
Yeah.
I tried something else.
Something else. And what did she try?
Maria says, my neighbor and I came to an understanding. She agreed to take her kids to the park between 2 and 4 every day when I have business calls.
So they reached a compromise.
Yes.
Okay. So my neighbor and I came to an understanding. So they had a talk.
Yeah. They talked. Maybe there was a negotiation. They figured out a way to make it work for the both of them.
Right. When do you usually come to an understanding? Usually, I would say when there is a conflict. Or maybe there's a problem.
Yeah.
There's miscommunication. Right? And then finally, you come to an understanding.
Right. And it's not usually that you come to an understanding naturally. It's usually that you have to get together and talk about it, maybe even fight about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Maybe you fight for several hours.
That's right.
Until you come to an understanding.
Right. Because sometimes these conflicts don't get, you don't get rid of these conflicts just, saying, okay, you're okay, I'm okay. Like, you need to hash it out.
Yeah.
You need to really talk about it. So, to come to an understanding. Okay. Can maybe like a wife and husband come to an understanding, or is that just they're too close to each other to come to an understanding? What do you think?
I feel you can, but it does feel like, not that you just understand each other. It sounds like husband and wife had a fight.
Yeah,
there was a big fight.
Yeah.
And after a long time, they talked about it and came to an understanding.
Very interesting.
You really only use this after there's been some kind of argument or some big disagreement.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so between 2 and 4 every day, the neighbor's kids go for a walk, right? They go to the park, and she can make business calls. And Chad says, what about for the rest of the day?
Maria says, for that, I took your advice and got the noise-canceling headphones and earbuds. It was money well spent.
Okay. For that is our power pattern. What is for that?
So you're often talking about a problem and a solution. So for that, you're saying for that problem, for that thing that we need to solve.
Yeah.
Here is my solution.
I got it. Okay. Because Chad says, how about the rest of the day? Oh, for that, you're asking specifically, this is what I'm going to do, which is get noise-canceling headphones and earbuds.
Yeah, they're so good.
Really?
I have some.
I was actually thinking of getting some.
Oh, yeah. Well, they are money well spent.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're, using public transportation. I feel like you need one.
Yeah, you don't know anybody's beside you.
Oh, wow.
Or even,
restaurants.
Restaurants. I used to live really close to the train. Line 1 in Seoul, which is outside for part of it. And so every 3-4 minutes, but when I put those noise-canceling headphones in, couldn't hear a thing.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
protects your hearing.
Money well spent. Means
money well spent.
They may have been expensive, but I'm glad I bought them.
Oh, yeah.
Or I got 100% of the value from the amount that I paid.
Yeah, it was money well spent.
It was worth it.
It was so worth it. Yeah, I really think that, especially sometimes when I go to a restaurant, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but I just it's so loud.
Sometimes it's so loud I cannot taste my food. Does that ever, it's like my brain is it's too loud. I don't know if this burger tastes good or not.
Right. 음식 맛을 모르겠어. 너무 시끄러워서.
Yeah.
너무 웃겨.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. All right, let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
Hey, Maria, you look well rested for once.
Thanks, I am. When I decided that the worst case scenario was that I would move out, I tried something less drastic.
That's good. What did you do?
My neighbor and I came to an understanding. She agreed to take her kids to the park between 2 and 4 every day when I have business calls.
What about for the rest of the day?
For that, I took your advice and got the noise-cancelling headphones and earbuds. It was money well spent.
It's time for Power Note. We're on pages 160 and 61. Worst case scenario, meaning this is the worst thing that it can happen. Mm-hmm. Worst possible outcome. What will you do if you don't get the job?
Worst case scenario, I'll move back in with my parents.
And a lot of young people do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The worst case scenario is the storm causes power outages and a flooding.
That's not good. So this phrase is used in two ways.
Yeah.
And the first one is used in the sense almost of like, this is the worst thing that can happen, mm-hmm. but it's not that bad.
Happen. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Often whenever you only say worst case scenario mm-hmm. at the beginning of a sentence, that's kind of what it feels like. Yeah, this is the worst thing that'll happen, but probably it's not that big of a deal, even if it does happen.
That's the nuance.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the second one really is, this could be a big deal. Mm-hmm. The worst case scenario is the storm causing power outages and flooding, mm-hmm. which we all know with hurricanes and typhoons that have come through, that, flooding is not good.
Not good.
Losing your electricity is not good
either.
You know, it can be very bad, especially if we're talking about hospitals and people who need care.
Yeah.
It can be a very bad situation.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, panic for me when the electricity cuts off because of my refrigerator, the food. It's just if it's like doesn't come back on for a while, I'm losing my food.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you had a power outage in Korea recently?
Not in Korea recently, but I did. Sometimes there are times when the power shuts off. Definitely in Los Angeles because of the earthquakes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like in America, power outages happen so often, comparatively.
Right. It gets dark.
I don't know if I've ever been in a power outage in Korea.
Very rare.
Huh.
Very rare.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of backup.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. So I like that explanation of worst case scenario. Two things. First is this is the worst that can happen, but it probably won't. Mm-hmm. And then the second one is, this is, if the worst thing is this.
Yes. Yeah. So it can be a more serious way or a very playing it light. It won't be a big deal.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, we run out of gas. We can just walk to the nearest, town.
Yeah. Worst case scenario, we have to catch the next plane.
Yeah.
No big deal. Yeah.
All right. If you come to an understanding, it means that you reach an agreement or compromise after a problem. You resolve a problem or a conflict.
Yeah, I don't think I would use this if the understanding came easily.
Yeah, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. Is Tom stepping aside for Corey to take over as CEO?
Yeah, they came to an understanding, so he'll stay on as VP.
Okay. There's a lot of talk.
Yeah, maybe there was a fight.
There was a fight. Internal struggle.
Like a power struggle.
Power struggle, right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And now they came to an understanding.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, Cameron?
Mm-hmm.
You look like Justin Bieber right now.
Do I?
You do, with your cap and your hair right at the front. It's very cute.
Thank you.
Let's move on.
Okay.
I hope we can come to an understanding regarding the parking spaces. What's going on with the parking space?
So maybe there was a fight over the parking spaces or just a misunderstanding.
Okay.
Maybe on our show
That's
Evening
space.
Special?
Yeah.
On Evening Special? We have the Lee Sang-jun 신입사원?
Yes.
Maybe he took the boss's parking spot.
Oh no. He probably would do that though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the boss was like, hey, you didn't go.
Yeah. Right.
And then Lee Sang-jun's like, but your name wasn't on the parking spot. Why can't I have it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you came to an understanding.
You figured out a way where everyone knows what to do.
Right. So Obviously, and it's not just a fight, but it could also be about miscommunication.
Yeah.
Like, you understood something this way, and the other person understood it that way.
Yeah.
So you have to talk about it. There's misunderstanding. So that's why after you clear the misunderstanding, then you can come to an understanding.
Right.
Wow.
I feel this can be used in another way, too.
What?
So, if you ever watch like a mafia movie.
Yes.
And like someone is talking to the mafia and is like, no, you can't take our house or you can't do this.
Yeah.
And
this is our territory.
This is our territory. Yeah. And then the mafia man like punches the guy or hurts the guy. The mafia guy might be like, hey, we came to an understanding. And what they're actually meaning is, I beat him up.
Right. It's a nice way of saying, oh, he understands now.
He understands now because I hurt him.
That is so true.
Right. So the original meaning is about having a discussion, but you might see it in movies where...
we came to an understanding.
Meaning they fought about it, they hurt him in some way, they took something away from him.
Right. It's a nice way of saying, like, I took care of it.
Yeah.
Okay. Money well spent means... you got a lot of benefits. You really got the full value of something.
Right. It was expensive. It was a lot of money.
Oh, it was a lot of money, yes.
But I'm glad I spent that money.
I see. Okay. Do you like your new air conditioner?
In this heat, it was money well spent.
Yes. Okay. After walking a mile to the hotel, I realized this suitcase was money well spent.
I wanted to get a cheap suitcase, but I went ahead and got the expensive one.
The rollers were just so smooth.
It was so easy to carry.
So easy to no problem. Right? It is so true. Like when you spend money on something and then you're like, oh, did I spend too much? Then you use it.
Yeah.
And you're like,
oh yeah.
I'm so glad. Money well spent. Okay. Power pattern. For that, meaning...
for that problem, here is my solution.
Okay. For that, you need to go to the bakery.
If you want a baguette, for that, you gotta go to the bakery.
Yeah.
I can't make a baguette at home.
Yeah.
For that, I need a special screwdriver.
Yes.
For that cabinet I'm building, I can't use my regular screwdriver.
Right.
It has weird screws.
Right. So when you're saying for that, it's something very specific.
Yes. For that situation, for that problem.
Right.
This is what you need to do.
Exactly. Power vocab on page 162, drastic, which means extreme, severe. Very dramatic.
Yeah.
That's what it means. And there is a nice definition there, so do check it out on page 162, like I just said. And what else should we do, Cameron?
Please go to Audio Hakdang, and for a small monthly fee, you can listen to this show and other shows that we have done until the end of time.
Okay,
for eternity.
Oh, forever?
And ever.
Wow. Hopefully we're around forever. Okay. And also, please check out our live show, evening special, at 6 p.m. tonight.
Yes.
Okay. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you tonight.
Bye-bye.